Hey, I'm Jen.
And hello, I'm Roni, and this is Field Guide to Healing.
Today we're going to be talking about how to create and sustain a morning routine.
So, first things first, when starting to create or think about what you want to do in a morning routine, what tip would you start off with, Jen?
Well, definitely I would say starting slow. A
Yeah.
lot of times you feel the pressure, especially seeing like if you're on social media, all of these intense like wake up at 4:45 a.m., right? No, no, no. I'm not going to do that.
Can we hold space for social media being fake?
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it, like that's great, but yeah, like
Like what we're saying is like, yes, are there people who get up at 4:45 in the morning, 4 a.m., and they do these things? 100%. They absolutely are. But I would take what you're ingesting on social media with a grain of salt because realistically, it's so easy to fake a morning routine. It's really easy to say, I woke up at 5 a.m. and it's actually 5 p.m. So,
hmm.
when ingesting any materials, let's like hold space for reality versus what's being curated.
I want to take it one step further and
Yeah.
say, what about you?
Yeah.
Okay? External sources erased, right? Really strip down what you're seeing, you're told to do from other people doing it, and think about what's going to serve you the best. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
start. We're gonna start really slow, making minor adjustments. If you're coming to this video, maybe that means that you're seeing that you want a morning routine.
Yeah.
Why? Right? What do you see? What do you want to
Yeah,
see be
what's your
different?
why? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tip number one, starting slow, I think is really important. And something that could be so helpful to pair with that is stacking your habits. So, for those of you who might not be familiar with this term, it is from Atomic Habits, which is a book that is to help you grow, build, and sustain habits that are what you want in your life. A lot of us are doing habits that maybe don't really support what we want automatically. We're just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like doing them. So, what are some of the automatic habits that you already have? For instance, do you brush your teeth in the morning? Maybe, yes. Maybe that's a habit you want to build, but let's assume that yes, you are brushing your teeth in the morning. And let's say another habit that you are wanting to get into is washing your face or, maybe doing a little stretch or something. You might then stack those habits together so that you start to pair them in your brain. So it's like when I brush my teeth, I wash my face. Or when I brush my teeth, I do a little stretch. I do a little one of these. What you're doing is you are making it more accessible by pairing it with a habit that you have already integrated into your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So it's instead of being, I'm gonna add 6 more steps to my morning routine, because really, like for a lot of people, getting the cap off the toothpaste. That's one step. Step two is putting the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Right? So there's more and more steps to all of
Yeah.
it. So the idea is you already have something pre-established that's very, very easy and accessible. You're like really secure in getting this done almost every single day. And then you
Yeah.
want to add on something, like we said, starting slow. Okay?
Yeah.
So that means like maybe you're going to be brushing your teeth while reaching up the one arm that you're not using to brush your teeth, or like doing some like some trunk rotations here,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't need to be I'm gonna get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and do 90 minutes of yoga. Okay, we
Yeah.
want to take your goals. I love your goals. Look at your goals, and then do something that make it so it's something achievable that you know for sure. This is super easy. I'm
Yes.
going to be able to do this.
100%. And then as you continue, like habit stacking, you can keep stacking. So once we establish, like, okay, I'm someone who brushes my teeth and washes my face. What is another habit that you might stack in that setting that you aren't doing? Maybe it's flossing. Maybe you want to do more flossing. That could be stacked into the habits. Another thing with starting slow that I think could be helpful, that's also talked about in Atomic Habits, is making it a visual cue. And what I mean by that is we want to make things pretty much as easy as possible for ourselves. It's going to be hard getting into the habit, so we want to make it easier. So, what I mean by that is say you want to drink more water. Fill up cups of water and leave them in places that you sit throughout the
Hmm.
day, at your desk, next to the couch. Again, maybe if you have dogs like me, you don't want to have a bunch of open containers, but have a travel cup that you bring with you around the house that's not open so you don't spill it on yourself like I just did. Second to this is also like, say you want to do more yoga, leave a yoga mat out in a visual
Mm-hmm.
field. I have a yoga mat right over here on the floor, and my partner will use this. I find them all the time doing stretches or doing some little calisthenics because they saw it and they're like, huh, I kind of want to do that. And then last but not least, this is just my last little example before moving into, my girl Jen, is say you want to start running. Maybe you leave your sneakers next to your bed. Maybe you leave your clothes that you're going to wear next to your bed. Maybe you even sleep in the clothes that you're going to run in. Maybe, maybe not. But what you're doing is you're making it visually in your field. So when you wake up and you look over, it's like, oh, I was going to go for a run. And then we made it easier for ourselves. But if you're ever interested in like a deep dive, Atomic Habits is a very helpful read, I would say, for that.
Awesome. All right, so taking shortcuts where you can.
Yes.
Let's say it's really hard to wash your face and you're starting to hate the fact that you're not washing your face. Maybe you're getting breakouts, whatever reason. It's feeling heavy for you. And the idea of actually adding it into your routine also feels heavy. Get cleansing facial wipes and keep them next to your bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Or like the little toothbrushies, like the little tiny guys. If it's too much to like have to do all that, leave those next to your bed. Like if you're like, oh crap, I didn't brush my teeth tonight and I really want to make sure I do that, we might use that little guide and then you feel just a little bit better and you've taken care of yourself that way, the way you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Love that a lot. This is just a specific one for some of my buddies who are neurodivergent, whether that be ADHD, autistic, or otherwise. Sometimes when you wake up, you might feel anxious or overwhelmed before the day has even begun. And it's like, what the actual hell is going on here? We're waking up with a little bit less dopamine than what we might be needing to like get the ball rolling. So you might want to do some things that help to increase some of that dopamine. Again, doesn't have to be crazy. We can put a hand to our heart, a hand to our belly. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Maybe say to yourself, I am okay. I can handle what the day gives me. Maybe you give yourself a little self high five in the mirror in your bathroom during your routine, maybe even putting a little sticky note or something. We want to help increase a little bit of that dopamine. And I'm curious, Jen, does anything come to your mind in terms of like ways that someone might be able to do an easy habit into their morning routine to like let that dopamine come up a little bit?
Yeah, set your alarm 5 minutes earlier and lay there. Just lay there. Stare at your ceiling. No one's pulling you anywhere because you're 5 minutes early anyway.
I just felt like a whole release, like marinate, like a little piece of chicken.
Absolutely, right? And it's okay if you feel that stress, right? You be there with yourself through it. And then the guilty pleasure of like, I don't have anything to do. I can be right here, right now. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or also you can use those tools, right? Which gets into our last tip, using a somatic technique.
But Jen and I have made it our goal to wrap up most of our skill type videos with an actual somatic experiencing type of tool to take with you. So today we talked about creating and sustaining a morning routine. And I think sometimes when we wake up and we have a big day ahead of us, we get overwhelmed with the rumination and the thought spinning. We kind of can get started on our thoughts and they just don't stop. So a skill that I'd like to lead us in today is called either a butterfly hug or butterfly taps. It can kind of go by either. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take your thumbs, make a little latch, and you're going to lay it over your chest here. And once you land here, you can begin giving yourself bilateral taps on each side, and you can control the speed, you can control the amount of pressure you're doing as you kind of tap down. And what this does is it stimulates our polyvagal nerve, which is tied to our parasympathetic nervous system, which is like rest and digest. So when we are feeling anxious, we're in fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We're coming into a different way of being by integrating this.
We're turning off that amygdala. Our fear response isn't allowed to activate because we're moving and we're thinking.
Yes. And if you're finding that your thoughts are still going crazy, I would invite you to begin counting backwards from 100. So 100, 99, 98, 97, I'm not going to do it all, so on and so forth. But what that does is it takes our thinking brain and gives it a task where it's no longer able to duly concern itself with both things. It's either going to be counting or it's going to be stressing over the thoughts. It will not be doing both. So continue to do this until you find that your thoughts are more clear and you feel more centered. And this is like a great thing that you can do while sitting there and looking at the ceiling, just giving yourself some gentle taps. And specifically, this helps with both intrusive and circular thinking. So that's a lot of what can happen to us in the morning, at least, from personal lived experience. And for those of you who are also feeling that, maybe trying this out and seeing if it works for you. Okay, so that is how to create and sustain a morning routine. Easy peasy.
Start slow. Take shortcuts where you can.
Increase your
Stack those
dopamine.
habits.
Move your body.
And that includes tapping, right? Really just be there with yourself. Don't rush. Oh my gosh, I actually love this reference so much. I get so excited when I have someone who's like, we're old, as my age. Like, if they see the movie Napoleon Dynamite, sometimes I'll be like, Napoleon Dynamite, tap that bitch, okay? Or butterfly tapping.
So for those of you who are ready to fly away, take this with you. Take these butterflies with you.
I want to get away. Okay, we're not
fly away. Yeah.
How about butterfly tap into interpretive dance?
Hey, this is called habit stacking, babes. This is where the magic is at. So until we see you again, this is Field Guide to Healing, and we'll catch you on the trails.
Catch you on the trails.
If you're interested in seeing more from us, please give us a like, a follow, an interaction. Anything helps. We are at Field Guide to Healing on all of our platforms, and that includes Spotify, Instagram, Patreon, and YouTube. All right. Farewell.